We went quite viral recently on TikTok for videos about Blackrock. What is Blackrock and how do they own everything?
Yeah, so Blackrock is an organization, it's a company publicly listed on NASDAQ that has tens of trillions of dollars of assets under management. They disclose that they have like 14 trillion, but that is only BlackRock. Then they own majority share in most of the companies in America, right? So they also have money and funneled through all those things as well. So what companies? They own Pfizer, they own Moderna, they own all the airlines, they own all the social networks. So when you see all this stuff, all this agenda kind of everybody working together, then you have to realize who actually owns it. This isn't a conspiracy. You go to Yahoo Finance, you go to top holders of all these shareholding companies, and you see BlackRock and Vanguard at the top. So you go to Amazon, for example, you go to Yahoo Finance, you go to Amazon, you go to the ticker of the stock, you go to top holders, and you realize Jeff Bezos ain't the biggest holder of Amazon. It's like, oh shit, he's no longer the majority shareholder of his company, so he doesn't make the final decisions, so he doesn't have the big say. The CEO of Bank Santander was sitting at a round table at the FII conference, and they were talking about what is the problem with the current system. And I think this was like a Freudian slip. She kind of slipped. I didn't think she intended to say this. She said, the big problem is that we have to make our investors and our shareholders happy, like him. We have to make Larry Fink happy, which was sitting right next to her, which was the owner of BlackRock. And she's like, we need to make him happy. As you run these companies and these organizations publicly listed, you need to understand that people with money, they can come in and swoop your shit. BlackRock is one of those organizations. I made a video about it. It did quite well on the internet. And it's nothing new, right? It's not the only organization that kind of runs the game. You can talk about that segment and that department of kind of like the publicly traded companies. But now, which is the crazy part, dude, is BlackRock is starting to get into the Chinese market. So they're starting to branch out their tentacles outside of the North American market. It's quite scary. So, I mean, I think autonomy, sovereignty is kind of the most important thing that people should be focused on, which is how can I make enough to be self-reliant and not have to depend on the system, depend on greedy people, depend on these psychopath motherfuckers that are out here to literally take everything that you're worth with no remorse whatsoever because, hey, it's just business. That's how they see it. People have been conquering lands, dude, for the longest time. You know, you see Genghis Khan, you see Alexander the Great, you see Julius Caesar. Fuckers, these were killers. That's why they won. That's why they took over the game. So if you think that at the highest echelons of business, these guys aren't the same way, then you don't get the game.
You will own nothing and you will be happy. Shit. BlackRock's about to own your kids in the future. Next clip.
Walmart CEO saying that he's willing to shut down if they keep losing money in theft. $3 billion this year in theft. Guess how much Walmart makes in profit every year? $152 billion.
Nah, dude, that's revenue. Their profit margins are kind of tiny, between 5 billion and negative 2 billion. Yeah, that's right. These motherfuckers lose money some years. I don't know why you guys are shitting on Walmart. They're choosing to make goods that are otherwise inaccessible to a lot of parts of the country. They're dealing with a clientele that can't afford much and yet are giving them access to all the nice things that any other major city has. Their margins are so tiny, man, that yes, fucking 3 billion in theft is some years half of the profit that they make. Good business advice, don't deal with this kind of clientele because they're usually very picky, have high demands, and the profit margins are really small. Walmart's choosing to do a good service for society, a business that most people don't want to get into. Leave Walmart alone.
He's right. And I looked at the finances, they're not all that good. So leave Walmart alone. Next clip.
Hey, Mike. What's up, Steve? You ever heard the phrase quiet quitting? I think that you are a quiet quitter. What is that? It's where you do your job in the exact parameters of your job. You don't go above and beyond or do anything else. You just do your job. Nothing more, nothing less. So me doing my job exactly how y'all wanted me to do my job for the pay that we agreed on is quiet quitting? Yeah, essentially. Look, man, you want me to do more work? Absolutely. Then quietly pay me some more money, bitch.
Yeah, that literally makes no sense. You want people to work harder? Pay them more. Because people barely want to work now. So you got to worry about quiet quitting. They going to really quit. Next clip.
A recruiter is asking you what your current salary is. In a phone interview, they're looking to see how cheap they can get you. Also looking to determine how much more they would have to pay you to get you to leave your current job for their job. New here, hi, my name is McKenna Johnson. Started my career in tech agency recruiting, and negotiated salaries with hundreds of tech professionals. Now I work in tech for a software as a service company as a customer success manager, and I'm here on TikTok teaching people how to transition to tech from their current jobs. Back to negotiation. So you can politely decline and say, I don't feel comfortable revealing that information at this time. Could you tell me a little bit more about the range that you're working with? When I was recruiting, nobody ever said that. Especially tech professionals that were senior in their career. They would literally just say, I'm making $130,000, I got a 10% bonus, and I got benefits. That was their way of saying, if you can't beat this, I walk. People that aren't getting paid well and know they're not getting paid well typically don't have that approach because they know that it's going to be leveraged against them. So that just leaves you with two other options. You either lie about what you're currently making, or you flip the question back around on them and ask for the range. But just so you know, the range that they give you is probably not actually the range. They're going to shave some margin off of it and then your response could be, yeah, that's a range that I could work with. And then later down in the process, when you're like 3 interviews deep and they've spent a lot of time talking with you and getting to know you, and then when it comes to the offer stage, they're going to call you back and say, okay, we would like to make you an offer. Can you, let's talk through a final number. That's when you have the most leverage because you've already met with the decision maker.
Or what I used to do was go on Glassdoor and see the salaries, and then whatever the top salary is, I'd add 10% on it. And then if it was too high, they'd usually be they'd probably try to come down and you go up and then you meet in the middle.
That's what she said.
Next clip.
How do taxes work when it comes to trading? I've never heard any traders talk about that side of things. How does that work?
Yeah, so when you're making your profits, you're going to get hit with what's called short-term capital gains tax. That can be pretty hefty. There's a few things you can kind of finesse the system, right? So one thing you can do is create an LLC. As you know, LLC is just an entity. So it doesn't mean you're creating a business, right? You just create the LLC and you could trade under the LLC. So your business is trading. So now instead of trading as an individual, you're trading as a business. So that's going to allow you to do a few things. It's going to allow you to write off different things, right? So for example, anything that you use for trading is now a write-off. So if you're buying monitors, laptop screens, whatever, those are all write-offs. Any type of trading subscription that you have, subscriptions to flow services, subscriptions to Discord groups, mentorship, that's all write-off. If you have a home office, a room in your house, apartment that's specifically just used for working, you can actually write off a portion of your rent if you're trading out of there. It's $5 per every square foot, up to 300 square feet. You can write off some of your rent. There's a lot of different things. Trading under LLC opens up a lot of options for you.
I'm more of a long-term investor because it just makes more sense versus the tax purposes. Because if you sell short-term games, if you're doing a good job, you could be paying 35% in taxes versus you paying at most 20% with the long-term game taxes. The thing about it is that 15% is usually the difference between you day trading versus you trading long term, because most people aren't, and I'd want to say 80 to 90% of people aren't good at day trading. Most of them lose money. But anyways, that's all I got for y'all. Hit the like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'm out.